like to call the Township of East Brunswick Council Action Agenda meeting of May 23rd, 2022 to order. Would everyone please stand to salute the flag and remain standing for a moment of silence there afterward? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Thank you. Ms. Lawful, will you please call the roll?
It's all right.
Councilmember Hall?
Here.
Councilman McAvoy?
Good evening.
Councilwoman Sullivan?
Here.
Councilwoman Zambicki? Here. Council President Wendell?
Here.
Also present, Mayor Brad Cohen?
Here.
Administrator Joseph Friscollo? And Township Attorney Raj Gumer.
Here.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required under Chapter 231 PL 1975 by specifying the time, date, location, and to the extent known, the agenda, by posting a copy on the bulletin board located in the main lobby of the East Brunswick Municipal Building, providing a copy to the Home News Tribune and Sentinel newspapers, posting a copy on the Township's website, and by filing a copy in the office of the Township Clerk, which will be entered into the minutes.
Thank you. First item of business tonight is Resolution 17403, a resolution adopting meeting minutes for May 9th, 2022.
So moved.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Second by Councilman Bahal. Any discussion on these meeting minutes? Seeing none, Ms. Lawful, please call the roll.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman McAvoy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President Wendell?
Yes. Next up, we have a proclamation recognizing Cub Scouts Achievement of the Arrow of Light Award being presented by Council Vice President McAvoy. Thank you, sir.
I'd like to have the scouts please come up behind me and fill in the well here and face your parents and your friends and your relations. There we go. All the kids. And please feel free to roam around wherever you feel comfortable taking some pictures. Beautiful. Proclamation, Cub Scout Arrow of Light Award. Whereas the strength and future of a community are reflected in the activities, successes, and accomplishments of its citizens, and whereas several members of the local Cub Scout packs have completed all of the requirements to earn the rank of Arrow Light Award and have followed the Cub Scout motto of do your best. And whereas they have earned numerous merit badges demonstrating their knowledge in a variety of subjects, they have attended the Boy Scout troop meetings and outdoor activities, enjoyed exciting adventures in the world of nature, and developed skills necessary to become good stewards of the environment. Now, therefore be it proclaimed that I, Brad J. Cohen, Mayor of the Township of East Brunswick, do hereby congratulate the following Cub Scouts and recognize their hard work and commitment and encourage them to continue their scouting journey by staying true to the scouting values. Pack number 109, Isaiah William Singleton. Pack 132, Brady Dobbs Easton Ho, Brian McMillan, Brendan McMillan, and Jason Semenovich. Pack 223, Casey Joy Corbin. Pack 501, Ayan Anita Zevis Chalawala, Jack Drescher, Julian Luang, Lynette Lee, Zakir Mansouri, Kavya Patel, Landon Ricarte, Eric Serwin, Beatriz Verzone, and Francisco Verzone. Given under my hand and the Great Seal of the Township of East Brunswick on this, the 23rd day of May in the year 2022, the Honorable Mayor Brad J. Cohen. Furthermore, I have a proclamation from Senator Duignan, Assemblyman Stoli Stanley, Assemblyman Rob Karabinchak. It is essentially exactly what I just read to you, but coming out of Trenton. This is very important to the young men and women who stand behind me and represent our fine community. One more time. Would you like to say a few words? Please.
Thank you. I'd just like to express the gratitude. I think I speak for all the PACs in town for the support that the community and the township and especially Mayor Cohen has given to all our events. He's very accessible and has, he makes time for us. So I hope that the promotion of Cub Scouting in East Brunswick can add a little bit to making our town one of the best to live in East Brunswick, in the state of New Jersey.
Mayor Cohen.
Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to add a couple of words. First of all, I'm intensely proud of these kids. I think I've seen them since they were much smaller and grow up through scouting, and they're really, especially in this last pandemic where most of us were able to function as best as we could remotely and to do school remotely, but doing civics and doing things for your community and contributing, that's real work. You can't do that virtually. You can't do that on the computer. You have to have it in your soul and in your heart to do these type of services for the community, and that's a really great life lesson for each and every one of you, because you know what? We could always tell those people who are genuine from those that aren't. Whether you're applying for a job or whether you're looking to get into college or run for political office, people can always tell those that have it in their heart and are doing it for the right reason. And scouting gives you all that you'll ever need to be able to justify all that you're doing, because I know that they're teaching you from day one to do it for the right reasons. You're doing it and you're contributing and making your community a better place. And that's just a great thing for you and for the people behind you to see that you're doing the right thing. And I'm really intensely proud of each of you. So thank you. Give them, again, another round of applause.
All right, we're going to take a 60-second break here in case anybody wants to get out. I know the kids have school tomorrow and all of that, so.
Thank you much.
All right. Thank you.
We really appreciate it. Can we take a
All right. And we're back. Now we're going to move on to our ordinances for second reading and public hearing. We got ordinance 22-13 is a bond ordinance providing for various school capital improvements in and by the Township of East Brunswick in the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey pursuant to a shared services agreement with East Brunswick Board of Education, appropriating $18 million therefore and authorizing the issuance of $17,100,000 worth of bonds or notes of the Township of East Brunswick to finance part of the cost thereof. Can I get a motion to approve?
So approved.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sullivan. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Bahal. I'm going to open this ordinance up to the public. Anyone wishing to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion on this. Any discussion from council? Mr. Criscuolo, maybe you want to give a little brief update? This is something
Sure.
that we do practically every year, and it saves our taxpayers money.
This is a bond for the school system where they have necessary repairs in the buildings, and thanks to Angel and Michelle and people in the finance department, and naturally the attorneys, put this together to help the school system when they're financing, gets them a much better interest rate. It's a lot of work on our part. It's, once again, something that East Brunswick has done for years, and you know, it's the right thing to do to help the taxpayer in achieving this.
Again, you're right, and we've done this year after year. This is a financing alternative for the school board that allows them to get our rate and ultimately saves the taxpayer money. It's always provided through a shared service agreement that we've had standing with the school for years and years. So, any other discussion from council on this? Seeing none, Ms. Loeffel, please call the roll.
Councilman Bahal,
Yes.
Councilman McAvoy,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki,
Yes.
and Council President Wendell.
Yes. All right, our next ordinance requiring a public hearing is ordinance 22-14, an ordinance of the Township of East Brunswick amending Chapter 3, Administration of Government, Section 117, Schedule of Fees for Police Services, Chapter 209, Vehicles and Traffic, Section 78, Traffic Directors, and adding Chapter 209, Vehicles and Traffic, Section 80, Authorization to employ off-duty officers, and Section 81, Violations and Penalties of the ordinances of the Township of East Brunswick. I'm going to go to you, Mr. Criscuolo, first to
Sure.
give a brief overview on this.
Sure. As you may know, our police department does outside employment on our roadways for not only township jobs, but could be contracted to by various entities, PSE&G, the county fair, so on and so forth. There was something brought up by PSE&G, the way things were being charged and so on, and we worked with Mr. Groomer and Mr. Baker's office and clarifying that language so it's succinct and clear on what their obligations are to the township when they scheduled outside employment from our police officers and also use one of our vehicles at that particular site, so that billing can be done correctly.
And this is primarily a housekeeping item that just
Yes, sir.
updates the ordinance to bring it to within current standards. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilwoman Zambicki. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sullivan. Anyone from the public wishing to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion. Ms. Loeffel, please call the roll.
Councilman Bahal,
Yes.
Councilman McAvoy.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki.
Yes.
And Council President Wendell.
Yes.
Thank you, Council.
All right, we're going to move on to our reports section of the agenda. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Council President. I just want to remind folks again that there's a lot of road work that's being done. We're taking advantage again of the good weather, the fact that we got a lot of roads that need to be done both on the county side and on the township side. So if you see detour signs and or you have to tolerate a little bit of traffic, this is our peak season for getting road work done. So please be patient. And I think at the end of the day, we're all going to be way better off, but I do sometimes get notes to the mayor's office complaining about traffic, but that is the problem that we do, and we want to get to all the roads, so I appreciate a little bit of patience, but thank you. And actually, the main road that we're doing this year, the TTF money, that grant that's going to cover Fern Road, for those who've been asking, that's going to take place when school is out, because it's a heavily trafficked road for school pickups, and so we really want to wait for school to end. We'll get to all of the sidewalk and repairs for curbing. That could be done now, but the actual paving work, we want to wait till school's over. Thank you.
Wow, short and sweet.
Yeah.
Mr. Criscuolo?
Yes, it's that time of year again where we go to twice-a-week garbage collection, started today,
Yes.
and we'll go through September. Also, just to remind the public that branch collection is separate from the regular schedule of collection of solid waste. For the curbside collection of branches, they can call the Office of Recycling, 732-390-6984, to be placed on the collection list. It must be tied and bundled, no longer than 4 feet and no more than 50 pounds. Residents can also drop off the branches at the recycle center Monday through Saturday, 7:30 to 3:30. At this particular time as well, I'd like to remind people we have a Memorial Day ceremony on this Saturday Sunday rather, at 1 p.m. at the memorial site over here, and so we don't have to go there later. On a resolution on the agenda is for the retirement for Michelle O'Hara. And Michelle, thank you for your service to the community. It's been a pleasure working with you for the last 6 years, and you certainly will be missed. Your institutional knowledge and your willingness to work around things and your hard work. I can remember on being here on New Year's Day, and we always saw Michelle's light on. So thank you for your service, and we're going to miss you. And I know you're moving to Delaware. Please, when you're back in town or in the neighborhood, just come by and say hello, and we appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'm trying to get her to cry, which I'm almost there, so I'm sure the council will get you there.
Sure. Mr. Goomer, any report?
Nothing to report, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lawful?
Something brief. So the primary election will be held on Tuesday, June 7th. So we will be having early voting at the Community Arts Center located at 721 Cranberry Road on the following dates: Friday, June 3rd from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday, June 4th from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sunday, June 5th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And that is all.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to council members' reports. The one thing I'd like to report is got a great phone call from our redeveloper on Route 18 on Friday afternoon. He said he has completed his due diligence on the properties at the 18 Central Plaza and is looking to push up his closing on that property, probably to be 2 weeks earlier, so that property will close middle of June, maybe earlier, and demolition would start soon thereafterwards. You'll see fencing going up and everything else within the next 2 weeks. It was a very, very good call after something we've all been working on for many, many years. To see this thing coming to fruition now is fantastic. And while I would say this for the good of the cause, well, I'm going to go to Michelle first. I mean, I've been sitting up here for 12 years, and you've been giving us advice and everything else for all this time, and I would just like to thank you for all the effort you put in. You're usually the last one here at night, and sometimes the first one here in the morning, from what I hear. And
No.
No?
Not that one. The other one, yeah.
But you know what? I truly appreciate the advice and everything else you've given me over all these years. You've been here for a long time, and you know the ins and outs, and you've been working with Mr. Neely and all the other people. So I give you a lot of credit for that. That had to be a difficult time, but, you know, thank you for all your time. And the one last thing I'm going to say, this would have said this is good to the cause, but I just want to congratulate the Rutgers men's lacrosse team for the first time ever making it to the NCAA semifinals. They will be playing next Saturday, and, you know, if they win next Saturday, they will play for the championship of the NCAA lacrosse champion on Monday. So consumed a little bit of my weekend, but, you know, I'm a lacrosse guy. So anyone else from council with anything? Yes, Councilman Zambicki.
Yes, thank you. From the Recreation Board, we have a couple events going on. First of all, this Saturday is the opening of Crystal Springs, and you can purchase your tickets starting at 5 p.m. the day before online, so it's great to have Crystal Springs back, and of course it employs a lot of our township youth, so that's awesome as well. And on June 4th from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., the fishing derby is going to occur at Dallenbach's, where the Crystal Springs parking lot is. So we hope we have a lot of people coming up for that.
Very good. Anyone else from the public wishing to speak? I just like one thing on our consent agenda tonight. There is a resolution hiring a vendor for Crystal Springs?
Yes, as I explained to you at the last meeting, unfortunately, our prior vendor had passed away, so we did a competitive bid, and we did get somebody to put in for it. So we're happy that they'll be able to start moving in shortly. So
Agreed,
this-
and I want to thank Angel and Joe and all the rest of the staff for turning that around so quickly and not losing, much time on that as
Yeah,
we're
help
opening
from
this.
tomorrow and Raj as well.
Yeah.
Might as well throw everybody in the mix.
Sure. There you go.
And Mike Reisner.
Yeah. All right. Anyone else on council want to speak? Seeing none, we'll open our meeting to the public. Ms. Lawful, will you please read our public comment statement?
Will do, Council President. The public comment portion of our meeting is to allow the public to bring to the council's attention their concerns or comments. In accordance with NJSA 10:4-12A and the East Brunswick Rules of Council, the council asks the public to limit their comments to 5 minutes or less. The public may use this opportunity to question any item listed on the consent agenda and request that such item be removed from the consent agenda to be discussed and voted on separately. Only one member of the public should approach to speak to council at a time. The council will respect the public's time by refraining from any comment until the speaker has finished with their allotted time. It should be further noted that the public comment portion of our meeting is not structured as a question and answer session. At the conclusion of the statements or questions from a member of the public, the council president, at his discretion, may choose to respond or not respond, or to ask the administration to respond. If the questions require more detailed responses, the council president or administration may ask a member of the public to make an appointment with the appropriate township official during regular business hours. The township clerk will regulate the time during the comment portion of our meeting.
Thank you. Anyone from the public wishing to speak? Troy?
Troy Bailey, 16 Glen Court. Thank you, Council President, for the time again. Still dealing with some back issues, so I'll be very brief tonight. First, I wanted to start off and thank Michelle O'Hara for your 25 years of service as a resident. Thank you for the amount of time, and I hope you enjoy retirement, and hopefully the traffic's not as bad in Delaware as it is here. The second thing I wanted to go over very briefly, just kind of clarify some comments I made last week. East Brunswick is 22 square miles, not 2 square miles. And Chattanooga, Tennessee accounted for 40% of the jobs, not 400%. So I just wanted to clarify that. Third thing, I was wondering if it would be possible to pull Resolution 17419, the Hidden Oak Settlement, and just to kind of hear a little bit more about that later on. And the last thing, my neighbor probably yell at me if I forget, there's a pothole currently kind of where the seam where PSE&G did their pipe work. What would be the best way for a resident to let the township know that there's a pothole that might be in need of repair?
They can call the Public Works Department
Public Works.
between 7:30 and 3, depending on which team is in there, and report it, and they'll put it in the system that records them all, and then they do it section by section of town.
Awesome.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, Troy.
Thanks, Troy.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public wishing to speak?
Good evening. Angel Albanese. Do I have to give my address too? 33 Victoria Drive, Clark, New Jersey. I want to personally thank Michelle O'Hara from the bottom of my heart for all of her hard work these 3.5 years that I've been here. She promised to stay for 5, but I think I've earned my wings. I guess she's letting me fly now. It's just an incredible job that she's done here, really wearing so many hats. When you consider the size of the township, it's not just the current fund that gets handled here. We have 5 utilities, so you've got the current fund, the capital fund of the current fund, the grant fund, you've got the 5 utilities that also have capital funds, as well as a CDGB grant fund, a payroll agency account fund, uniform commercial code fund, escrow funds. So, and that is separate from, well, I forgot the trust fund. Oh, my goodness. Don't we have so many trust bus riders in that fund that have evolved over the years. I would say about 25 of those, including the police extra duty one that was mentioned this evening, and accounting for all of that. So really, one of the things that I think of most when I think of Michelle is whenever I would go and see her in her office, she always had a smile and said, "What do you need? What do you got?" And really, I think I hear that in my head, you know, when I know when I walk by that space until we finally fix the space up, it's definitely going to be there when I look in that room there, Michelle. And also, tonight, I think I want to compliment Michelle as well for, and also the administration and the support of council for the succession planning we've done, so that we're fortunate enough to have a deputy collector who's been on board since last July. And I had 2 weeks with Lou, but you've had some time. Not that everything was imparted, because there's just so much to impart. You just kind of have to live it. But Lori Marr is here tonight, and I hope she'll be appointed as our next tax collector, and wish her many years as well. So, Michelle, good luck in the future, and congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Angel. Anyone else from the public wishing to speak? Yes.
Evening. Alex Millen, 6 Douglas Road. I just wanted to put a comment into Resolution 1741-2, dealing with the basic life support and Robert Wood Johnson. Not as much as, it's not anything for or against or anything of that nature, but I was wondering if there was anything we can do to kind of commemorate the old East Brunswick Rescue Squad that used to be dealing with that for over 50 years. I understand that when it closed back in 2019, I believe, it was due to financial reasons and because of lawsuits and stuff like that. But I think it would be wonderful for us to commemorate that being part of our community for that long period of time, and the fact that I knew people personally who went to that rescue squad to learn how to do basic first aid, how to deal with ambulances, how to deal with first response. And with their with its dissolution, now they have to go to other vendors to do such things, go to hospitals or other locations that offer those services. And I was wondering if it was possible for us to bring something back within the community so that we could, invest in the healthcare of this neighborhood, in this town, like as we did before. And once we are dealing with the conclusion, hopefully, of the pandemic of COVID-19, we can take what we've learned from that and maybe train the next generation of EMTs and other medical technicians in how to deal with these things in the years coming. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public wishing to speak? Yes, sir.
Aruna Yagari, 20 Brook Hill Road. I have a question and a comment. Early this year, as part of COVID relief, coronavirus, state and local federal relief fund, the U.S. Department of Treasury released $350 billion across all the counties and states and the tribal governments. As part of that, New Jersey received $6.2 billion and Middlesex County received $160.2 million. So my question to the council is, what was our allocation, our being East Brunswick Township? Did we receive any money as part of this bill, as part of this final ruling? Question one. And my comment is, I would like to appreciate Councilperson Sullivan and Councilperson Zimbicki for positively responding to my very unfortunate baby formula shortage email. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public wishing to speak? I was going to give you your time when we read your resolution, but...
Oh, then I'll come back then.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Joseph Schmidt, 26 Lois Avenue. I just have a couple questions. I was at Lowe's this past week getting materials for a job. I'm still, so I didn't have time to change out my work clothes. And I noticed that they cut some of the forest that was there around Lowe's, they cut it back. I was having a discussion with someone there about it because of that. So my first question is there, why did it need to be cut back? And is there a way to prevent cutting forests back in order to do construction in the future? Second question is, the person I was talking to mentioned something which I do not know if it's true or not. They mentioned about a lot of this building going on has to do with a law from the 1980s about affordable housing, and it's gotten a bit nuts. And so the person said, oh, they did that back in the 80s and 90s when they built all these townhouses around, and that was for that. So is that true, that they built a lot of housing for that back when it originally came out? And if that's true, and if this building that we're doing now is based on that law, then why are we adding, I don't know the law, so I'm trying to understand it. So why are we adding more houses if some was already built, if that was the case? And if that's the case, is there going to be end to it, or is it just constant rebuilding and deforestation throughout the state of New Jersey based on that law? And also, if that happens to be that it's going to be a constant deforestation and building for years to come based on that law, is there a way to talk to the New Jersey Assembly through Assemblyman Stanley about maybe doing something so we don't have that problem, since I know he used to be a council member here? So that's basically the questions.
Okay.
I mean,
Thank you.
I'm just going to sit down.
Raj, you want to address fair share housing a little bit? Or
Yeah, Jody,
Yeah.
I don't mind. Do you want me to take it? Yeah.
This will address your question on the affordable housing obligation.
Yeah, so affordable housing laws have been in place in the 80s. However, there's been multiple rounds. We just went through the third round probably a few years ago, and that's where the townships were required to, and there was actually litigation with every township as the townships tried to prevent development. That the townships were required to build out and increase their number of affordable housing. So that's part of what's been happening, but however, I know the township's been working on redevelopment also to make the township a better place, and they've been able to kind of merge the goal of redevelopment and making the township better with being able to meet those requirements that they had to do as part of the settlements on that litigation. So yes, there's a requirement for every town to build out more affordable housing over the next 5 years, and the township's having to do that.
And to that point, there's no indication that there won't be another round of requirements.
Yeah, right now, it's kind
Right
of...
now our requirement goes to 2025.
Yes.
So there could be another round of requirements for affordable housing after that. So, we're only building what we're required to build in that regard. So, anyone else from the public wishing to speak? Yes, sir. Thanks, Raj.
So, Jan Bergman for Court. So we hear about this requirement all the time. Whose requirement it is? Who made this law? Who is responsible for this law? Is it Democratic Assembly? Is it governor? Who making these laws?
It's actually a federal requirement.
Even third round federal requirement?
Federal requirement.
Are you sure about this answer?
State requirement, yeah.
State.
With New Jersey fair share housing. Yeah?
State Supreme Court mandated.
Well, state cannot, Supreme Court cannot mandate. It's
Yes, they can.
Assembly can mandate, and then court can say it's correct or incorrect, legal or illegal. It's not a question.
Okay. Anyone else from the public? Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, Town Council, Thomas Angrosani, 58 Deerfield Road. Every morning I take my granddaughter to school. She goes to Wunsdorfer. So I go down past Central. And I noticed that there's a lot of white lines on the right near the cemetery. If some of those lines could be taken away, because a lot of traffic's always backed up for that one light going that way. I go this way. And if it's possible to just cut down on those lines so you could have a second lane to go down to Dunham's Corner Road. Now we come to Dunham's Corner Road, on the way back, coming east, I would say, from Hammersholt, not Warnsdorfer, okay, there's a traffic light. You can't see that second traffic light until you're up on top of it. Is it possible that could be something done with that light? Because it's like, it's going to cause an accident, I feel, because it's like, you can't see it till you're on top of it. And somebody might just be coming this way, you think you've got the green, it could be still red. It's just very, if you take a look at it, you'll see what I'm talking about, coming east.
You're
All right.
talking about the fire, by the firehouse?
It's Dunham's Corner in Ryder's Lane.
Yeah, firehouse, in case there's an emergency.
Yeah. The other day was such a backup because they're doing construction there, and they held me up. I'm in the past that light where I was legitimate, but they stopped me. And next thing, everybody's beeping the horn. So why? The light was green. I couldn't see it. All right, so just a thought. All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Joe, could you have traffic safety and?
Those are county lights.
Okay.
The timing on those lights are set up in conjunction with the fire department there, and the timing is set up with time of day, day of week for the synagogue. So there's a lot of factors in there. It was just reset. The incident where the gentleman was speaking about was when the county was repaving Ryder's Lane, and you always have to yield. If there's a police officer on the road, it doesn't matter what the light says.
Right.
You have to yield to the officer. So at that point, he was following the direction of the officer. I'm sure people maybe didn't see it, but he still has to yield to the officer and stop.
Okay. Anyone else from the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, I'll close the public portion. We're going to move on to Resolution 17404, a resolution accepting the retirement of Michelle O'Hara as the tax collector for the Township of East Brunswick. What if we don't accept
I
it?
just ready to say that. Sorry.
I tried that already.
Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Can we get a second?
Second.
All right. Councilwoman Zimbruk, you want to read the resolution?
Okay, Michelle, I get the honor of reading this, so. All right, this is a resolution accepting the retirement of Michelle O'Hara as tax collector for the Township of East Brunswick. Whereas Michelle O'Hara has submitted written notification to the Township of East Brunswick that she will retire from the tax office effective May 31st, 2022. And whereas in 1997, Michelle began her employment with the Township of East Brunswick as Assistant Finance Director Comptroller. She later obtained her certification as tax collector in 1999 and assumed the position of tax collector in the year 2000. And whereas during her tenure with the township, she devoted innumerable hours working with dedication and devotion. And whereas throughout her 25 years of service to the Township of East Brunswick, she demonstrated outstanding work ethic and dedication to her duties. As she tenures her employment as tax collector, the impact that she has made will be felt long after she leaves this position. Michelle O'Hara was an asset to the township and will truly be missed for her exemplary work, her work ethics, her leadership, her dedication, her enthusiasm, kindness, camaraderie, and service to the Township of East Brunswick. Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of East Brunswick that Michelle O'Hara's retirement is hereby accepted with an effective date of May 31st, 2022, and be it further resolved that the mayor and the Township Council do hereby extend sincere and grateful appreciation to Michelle O'Hara for her 25 years of dedication and outstanding service to the Township of East Brunswick, and congratulate her on her well-earned retirement and wish her happiness and good health in the years to come. Congratulations.
Thank you, everybody. I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank the mayor, the administration, all the council members, all the previous mayors, council members, and administrations that I've worked with and served through the years. It's been a pleasure. So.
Michelle, thank you so much.
And Lori, best luck and wishes. I know you do well.
Absolutely.
Here's to 25 years.
Now, I just want to caution council members on how they want to vote here. You know, do they accept this or not? Go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
I just wanted to add, I'm not going to speak long, which is odd for me, but I have to say, within the first couple of weeks of starting office, I knew that there was a lot of work that needed to be done, and I came in on a Sunday, punched my codes in to get in, because, it's locked, so nobody can get in, and I figured I would go through this dark hallway, get to my room, and get work done where it's absolute quiet. And as I'm walking to the office, lo and behold, I think somebody left the light on in their office. So I went into the finance area, and who's there but Michelle, working on Sunday. I said, are you the only... I thought I was the only fool to be working these type of crazy hours, but I'm kind of used to that in OB, not you. And we sat there and had a long conversation. There is nobody who has been as dedicated to this town as Michelle. And the knowledge base is unbelievable. Really, really difficult to comprehend the amount of work and the amount of knowledge that she has in the area of finance. It's truly amazing, and we've been very fortunate. We've had Lou, Angel, I'm sure Lori's going to fall right in place, who really are just unbelievable in what they know. And it's not just us saying it. It's known throughout the state. People talk about the finance department in East Brunswick. It has that reputation, and that doesn't happen overnight. That happens from years of dedication and commitment on the part of the people that work here. It's not just punching in and punching out. It's people who have made working for the township a life's mission and a true commitment, and that's very unusual in municipal government. We're seeing it more and more, which is nice to see, but really, kudos to you. It's you've done the town a great service. You'll be truly missed, and best of luck in your retirement.
Mr. Mayor, just to tag on to what you're saying, I mean, I just, being around here for 12 years and through 3 different mayors, and, it's interesting that anytime you ask a question, question that a layman such as a council person doesn't necessarily know, we look to our professionals and our department heads and everyone else to answer. Anytime you talk about finance, it's ask Michelle. Ask Michelle. Michelle's got the answer, because she's been doing it so long. She's so dedicated and involved in everything she's doing. So I just want to thank you for all the time and all the answers I've gotten from you over the years, whether it's directly from me or through administration, but everybody's just always got to ask Michelle. So thank you for everything you've done. You better enjoy your retirement.
It'll be interesting. I'm a lifelong veteran, so the fact that retiring and moving all at the same time will be...
Big transition. Thank you. Anyone else on council? All right. Seeing none, we'll move on to Resolution 17405. Oh, we don't have a motion in a second? We had a motion in a second, didn't we?
Yeah, we got the motion.
We just didn't call the vote. Oh, yeah, right. It was
first.
Sullivan and Zimbicki. Or, okay. It was Sullivan and Bahal.
Councilman Bahal?
Yes.
Councilman McAvoy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zimbicki?
Yes.
And Council President Winfrey?
Yes. All right, now we're going to move on to Resolution 17405. You can feel free to leave if you'd like. I mean, it's up to you. You can stay, but We let the Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts leave.
Do you need a minute?
Resolution 17405, an emergency resolution to provide $300 cash match for a Middlesex County 2022 Arts and History Grant. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Can we get a second? Thank you,
Can you
Councilman
just
Bahal.
explain what that is?
Yes.
Yeah, insertion into the budget, there was a grant that was received by John in the library to do the Sunday concert things, and there was a 3% match, so we need to bring that grant in. We also have to do this in the budget, and thanks to Angel and Michelle that know all the ins and outs of this for recognizing this and putting it on the agenda this evening, so we make sure we meet our obligation to the grant.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Luffel, please call the roll.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman McAvoy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambiki?
Yes.
And Council President Wendell?
Yes. All right, we move on to a consent agenda. We're going to remove Resolution 174, or not remove, we're going to separate 17419. Does anyone else want something separated? Yes, Councilman.
17406. 17407. 17416.
6. All right. Anyone else looking for separated? No? All right, can I get a motion for items 17408 through 17411, 17413 through 17415, 17417, and 17418, and 17420?
So moved.
Thank you. Thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilman Hall?
Yes.
Councilman McAvoy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambiki?
Yes.
And Council President Wendell?
Yes. All right, now we're going to move on to Resolution 17406, a resolution of the Township of East Brunswick, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, authorizing award of a competitive bidding contract to Z Brothers Concrete Contractors for the Fern Road Improvement Project in the amount of $648,131. Mr. Criscuolo, do you want to give a little bit of background on this? This, we actually had on...
The bond ordinance was on a
Right.
couple of weeks ago
Yeah.
and was approved, so now we're ready to award this contract. A lot of this comes out of the TTF, the Transportation Trust Fund, and will be used to make drainage, curbing, sidewalk improvements along Fern Road.
And that, as the mayor spoke earlier, that will be done after school.
It has to be done after school is
Yeah.
done, yes.
Any other comment on this from council? Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved?
Thank you, Councilwoman Zambiki. Can we get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sullivan. Ms. Luffel, please call the roll.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman McAvoy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambiki?
Yes.
And Council President Wendell?
Yes. We move on to Resolution 17407, a resolution appointing Lorraine Marr as the Collector of Revenue for the Township of East Brunswick for the unexpired term expiring December 31st, 2022. Welcome, Lorraine. Any discussion? Yes.
Yeah, I had this pulled for the mere reason of the significance of this transition. Getting a new job at this level in one's career, when one is getting ready to get involved in a position that just might be the last stop.
No, it is the last stop. I
Excuse
told
me.
her. Excuse me.
As I was saying, I recall so vividly when my wife was pursuing advancement in her career, and we would attend Board of Education meetings because my wife was in education. And so the family gathered, and I'm just, maybe I'm surmising wrong that there's a member of your family with you, but it's pivotal. It is so important. And I wanted to make sure that your name did not get lost in all the resolutions that we just flip right through. So we will vote on this, and I hope the vote goes favorably, and then as a result of that, welcome to the East Brunswick team, welcome to this family of high-energy workers, including Mr. Crisculo. And I just wanted to say good luck. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Anyone else from the council wishing to speak? Seeing none, can I get a motion?
So moved.
All right, we'll take a motion from Councilman Bahal, second by Council Vice President McAvoy. Ms. Loeffel, please call the roll.
Councilman Bahal?
Yes.
Councilman McAvoy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President Wendell?
Yes. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Next, we move on to Resolution 17412, a resolution authorizing contract extension to Robert Wood Johnson Health Network Incorporated for basic life support, emergency medical services, response, and transportation services for the Township of East Brunswick. Can we get a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sullivan. Can we get a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Zambicki. Mr. McAvoy, Council, you pulled this?
I did not.
Oh, no?
No.
Oh, no, wait, we didn't pull this one.
No, we didn't really pull it, but we.
What?
A resident from...
Yeah, I actually circled it, but we didn't pull it. This was actually already moved, and, yeah, okay.
Consent agenda.
Council President, just so you know, when we went out for a competitive bid for this, which, knock wood, we did right before the pandemic, the way it's set up is a 3-year contract and then an additional 2 one-year extensions. So that's why we're doing 1 year, for this upcoming year, and then probably the following year for their services, which they provide excellent service to the community. Hats off to Robert Wood EMS team over there during the pandemic. They were stellar. So I'd just like to voice my appreciation for them during a very difficult time. So thank you, and I appreciate the vote on this affirmative to continue that.
Since we already moved it, and let's just call the vote.
Councilman Bahal?
Yes.
Councilman McAvoy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President Wendell?
Yes. Next one we had separated was Resolution 17416, resolution authorizing issuance of a raffle license to BPOE number 2370 to East Brunswick Elks for a merchandise raffle to be held on April 18th, 2022. What?
Typographical error.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Why?
Yeah, I had this pulled, because how can today be the 22nd of May?
Right.
And the raffle is going to be on April 18th, and I just did not receive clarification, therefore want to make sure that the community doesn't think that we're in some level of the twilight zone.
There's this different date on this?
There is a different date. I apologize. I don't have the raffle.
If you read the resolution.
It's on June 18th.
It's June 18th? Okay.
June 18th?
Yes, June 18th.
All right, so it's, the raffle's to be held on June 18th, 2022. Can we get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Corrections.
Motion by Council Vice President
Second.
McAvoy, second by Councilman Bahal. Ms. Loeffel, please call the roll.
Councilman Bahal?
Yes.
Councilman McAvoy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President Wendell?
Yes. All right, the next one, last one we have is Resolution 17419, a resolution authorizing a settlement with Fair Share Housing Center in regards to Hidden Oak Woods LLC versus Township of East Brunswick, docket number MIDL 4828-19. We want to get a little discussion, a little background on this?
I was going to let Raj.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So as most of you remember, we had a application for the Hidden Oaks project. That's the project on the corner of Harts Lane and Tice's. It's 275 units, 20% of which were part of our affordable housing obligation. They appeared before the township's planning board with their application, and because of several problems that the planning board had with that application, including what we felt was not a fair plan to handle expected traffic, and they also had an expired letter of interpretation for the wetlands. And we felt that the DEP should go back and investigate that property because of the problem we've had with drainage there in the past. And therefore, because of those two problems, we turned that application down at the planning board. The developer took the town to court and challenged that determination, and the town lost that case in court. The town then still felt that they were on solid ground with their case and appealed to the appellate division to try to overturn that decision at the court in New Brunswick. We lost that one as well. Most of you may recall that with the first loss in New Brunswick, the Judge McCluskey, determined that the township had to build the property, and that that the mayor had to be removed from any future planning board application that had anything to do with affordable housing, because it was his opinion that I was against affordable housing, and that's why that application was turned down. That was the reason that we went to the appellate division, was one, that was not true, and secondly, we still felt we had a good case on those two grounds that we turned it down at the planning board. We got a split decision at the appellate division. The appellate court felt that we still needed to build the project, that it was part of our affordable housing settlement, and we need to build it and allow the builder to build it, but that the judge in New Brunswick overstepped his mission and had no right to say that the mayor should not be part of any planning board that has anything to do with affordable housing, that I speak because I'm elected by the public and I speak for the public, and therefore that part was withdrawn. At the end of the day, though, the developer is now attempting to recoup his legal costs for those legal battles. And we've been negotiating with the court to find a fair settlement on those cases and those legal fees, because the judge initially wanted the township, not only did we lose the case, but we were to be responsible for over $400,000 in legal fees. So that's a clear message to the public that this is the problem with challenging the courts, who clearly want us to keep to our affordable housing settlements that are thrust upon us by the state. And if we challenge them, which we have now done twice and lost twice, that the township is going to be not only required to build it, but that you will be responsible for the legal fees, not only of yours, but those that have challenged you. We've negotiated that down to the settlement that you see on your pages today, and that is, once you agree, and if you choose to agree, that puts an end to that case. Did I do a good job?
Perfect job, you're right.
This settles the case with fair share housing.
Yeah, so this is part of the legal fee application for the fair share housing, which is the affordability group that pushed to make sure that the township built out that affordable housing. They made an application for, I think, $30,000. The court was probably going to grant that, and so we did a great job. I think it was Mike and the administration did a great job in reducing that 50%. Saves our attorney's fees in fighting the application, as well as halves the attorney's fees that they probably would have been awarded in court. So overall, it's unfortunately you still have to pay, but it's the best deal we could probably get.
Thank you. Can I get a motion on this ordinance, or this resolution, rather?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilwoman Zabicki. Can we get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sullivan. Any further discussion on this?
Council President?
Yes,
Is there
go ahead.
do we have a bottom line dollar and cent sign number, Mayor?
Yeah, I think
15,000.
15?
Yeah,
For this-
15,000.
This is for
this
the
case.
fair share
Right.
housing.
I
The
remember
attorneys are
reading that.
different. Right.
Just making sure we're on the same page. Thank you.
All right. Please call the roll.
Councilman Bahal?
Yes.
Councilman McAvoy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sullivan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Zambicki?
Yes.
And Council President Wendell?
Yes. Anything for the good of the cause this evening? Yes, Councilwoman Sullivan.
First, I want to congratulate the boys tennis GMC champs today.
Wow.
And also, Governor Murphy appointed one of our own to the, and I always say this wrong here, excuse me, the Asian American and Pacific Islander, the AAPI Commission. And what that will do is, this commission will give a greater voice to the Asian American and Pacific Islander community that is making increasingly important contributions to New Jersey's social and economic vitality. And our very own Mary Pan will be on that commission. So it's real exciting for East Brunswick.
Thank you. Anyone else for the good of the cause?
Let me just go back and revisit, if I may, the intersection of Riders Lane and Dunham's Corner. We just go back. I'm sure the resident, Tom, who, Tom, I just don't have your last name, but I think everyone on the dais knows. I think, I'm not putting in words in Tom's mouth, but I've noticed that, let's say I'm doing the same path of dropping something off at Warnsdorfer, and now I've made my left on Dunham's Corner, and I come up to the firehouse. It is very difficult to see if the light is red or green, because those traffic lights or at that intersection are different than any other. Was that made clear by Tom when he took to the?
One green light first. And then you don't see the next one, you don't know if it's green, you don't know where to stop or go.
Right, I just noticed that it's very, okay, as long as everyone is in agreement, so maybe that could be looked into as well.
It's as you get closer, because I think we had this as a problem before. I think they said it was for case emergencies, that if the fire trucks had to get out, if you noticed, you stop before the second traffic light. That traffic light wasn't there originally. They put that in, I'm not sure how many years ago, but they put that in for the security of and the safeness.
And the returning fire trucks. You are
So
correct.
there's special lights for the firehouse.
Yes.
Correct.
Didn't know that. Thank you.
The stop line, the stop bar is actually before the firehouse.
correct.
Right.
And the traffic lights that you're supposed
It's
to.
very
be looking
difficult
at.
to see if it's
And the ones
red
that
or
are in the
green.
middle of the intersection, you really don't see until you get upon them. So,
I'm good.
Listen, if we could just have, maybe just a response from traffic safety on that, Joe? To give us a
I'll
little
report it to
bit
the
of,
county and have them take a look at it.
just give us a little bit of background as to,
That's what it's
that
there
design
for
is.
now. There's probably attenuators in the fire trucks that can change the
there's a
light.
button right inside the
Button
building.
inside the building and probably in the trucks. It's probably why it's set up. If they're coming, they can hit the button and they can cycle the light.
Right.
But I'll talk to the county.
All right.
Actually, that particular intersection, just so you know, the control of it for repair is actually, they have a shared service agreement with the state to do that particular light there and on Old Bridge Turnpike and Main Street. So I will call them and see what we can do.
So maybe not by the next council meeting. but maybe
Yeah,
by
probably gonna take a little longer than that with the state.
The one a little bit further that you can just kind of give us a little report back as
Yeah,
to
sure,
what you found out.
sure.
Thank you. Anyone else for the good of the cause? Seeing none, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sullivan. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Bahal. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're out. Thank you.
Yeah.